Hello everyone, Tokyo85 here, back with another video. So I thought I would actually go over the many ports of Double Dragon 2, because the game actually has a decent amount of ports. I'm not going to go over the PC ports, I'm just going to go over 4 of the console ports. 2 of them, you probably know about, the other 2 you may not know about. So with that said, let's just jump right in. The first port I want to talk about is Double Dragon 2 for the Sega Genesis. Now, like most people, I didn't know this game even existed for a while. I think I came across it in a video, but part of my homework for this video was to play and beat it, because I never did so. And this game, it was a rough playthrough. Pretty much the game has a lot of slowdown when there's characters on the screen, and oddly enough, a lot of speed up when there isn't any characters on the screen, so it's very jarring. The game itself is pretty much a direct port of the arcade Double Dragon 2, and this game has the mechanic also of, depending on what direction you face, changes your punch and kick, a lot like the NES Double Dragons do. Moveset, I was able to punch, kick, and pull off a helicopter kick. Essentially though, if you're going to have any success in this game, you need to just live in the air, because if you try and play it like an actual game, punching and kicking, the enemies are just going to gang up on you, and pretty much and just end your time there. Like, the game is extremely difficult, but again, mainly because the mechanics are broken. So essentially, to even beat the game, you gotta like live in the air, a lot of jumping, a lot of helicopter kicks. I did manage to beat the game on my second try. It's not really punishingly difficult. Unfortunately, to beat it, you have to kind of exploit it. Like, if you try playing it regularly, it's going to be really hard, but if you just live in the air, do the helicopter kick a bunch of times, and essentially, yeah, and this game doesn't do the thing where it locks the endings behind multiple difficulties, because the game does have 3 difficulty settings. You will get the same ending with each difficulty setting, and you get 5 continues, so it's pretty generous, but overall, the experience with it was not very great, and I wouldn't recommend it. In the number 2 spot, we have Double Dragon 2 for Game Boy. This, I will say, was one of the more unique Double Dragons I played, mainly because it has like an interesting enemy roster. Like, the game still plays like the other ones, you punch, you kick. This game does not change the buttons when you face direction. B is always kick, A is always punch. But for success in this game, I just kicked. Like, forget even the A button is there. Just kick, kick, kick. It does, again, where you have to jump, you have to hit A and B at the same time. It also has a move where it has like a super uppercut you can do. I find it very situational. I don't try and do it all the time. But some of the interesting things that make this game unique is that at the end of every stage, there's a subway that takes you to the next area, which I thought was kind of weird. I didn't see that in any other Double Dragon game. And it has interesting bosses. Like, there's one boss that has a chainsaw in a hockey mask, like Jason, and another one that kind of looks like Vega because he has a claw. Each game, I did do a little more research, and when I jumped in, I found that this game actually in Japan was just another Kunio-kun game, which you guys all should know as River City Ransom, again developed by Technos Japan. And when it came to the West, they just reskinned it as Double Dragon 2. But that also explains why the differences with the game and how unique it plays in its presentation. In the number 3 spot, you got Double Dragon 2 for the NES. And this is the one I have the most experience with. This is a game I owned, as a kid. And this game is just an awesome game. I feel like it's better than the arcade port it came from. Yes, the graphics aren't as nice, but the gameplay is excellent. The jumping, the kicking, the helicopter kick, the knee, the grabbing, the throwing, the game controls like a dream. Like, you do feel like you're in control, which is awesome. With the game too, it does have multiple difficulty settings, like the other Double Dragons, except this Double Dragon will lock some of the later missions if you play it on a lower difficulty. So for instance, to get the full real ending and to fight the last boss, the real last boss, you have to put it on the hardest difficulty of Supreme Master. And previously, Double Dragon 2 for Game Boy was the same way. I forgot to mention that. On easy, it'll just end at the first mission. But again, a great game, great port. And again, this is a classic example of, graphics not always being the end-all, be-all with a game. The graphics obviously are 8-bit Nintendo, but the gameplay is just excellent. The gameplay really shines through, and even the music is very well done too. Overall, Double Dragon 2 for the NES is just a fantastic game. And last but not least, the number 4 spot, you have Double Dragon 2 for the PC Engine. And again, it's one of those games I didn't know existed at the time, but I am a huge TurboGrafx fan, so when I found out about the game, I got a copy of it. And this is interesting because this game, it's one of the later ports. It came out in '93. It was developed by Nactisoft, but it's actually a remake of essentially the NES port. It's got all the same levels, obviously, just in 16-bit with better graphics. The gameplay is really what makes this game stand out again, because the gameplay is just like the NES game. The jumping, the punching and kicking, the helicopter kick, the knee, it's all there. and it's all fluid. You could do the moves. The game controls just as good as the NES one, with better graphics. So this game was a fantastic find when I was able to play it. But just the one thing that really kills me with this port is just the music. It has CD quality music, because again, I should have mentioned it's a PC Engine CD game, and the music is just weird. Like, some of them are NES remixes of music, some of them is its own. It's just weird. Like, the first level has this weird thing where, you know, in the first level, because it shows your girlfriend getting killed. I know they cut that out of the NES version of the game. But you hear her scream over and over again in the track of the first level, even though she's been dead. So, which I thought that was kind of weird, because when you play the first level of that game, you'll just hear her scream every like 30 to 45 seconds. If that game had if that game just took the NES soundtrack and just made it all CD audio, it would have been actually like the most perfect port of the game. And the funny thing is too, it's just Double Dragon 2. There's no other Double Dragons for the PC Engine, just 2. I thought that was interesting itself. So anyway, guys, that's my video of the Double Dragon 2 ports. Let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe, and have a good day.